so we're looking at number 10. All right, you should have your unit circle in front of you. Oh, this one, there was a typo. Okay, so I'll give you this one for free. So, Diana, you can pick another one, okay? So you're going to get to see 11 problems. This problem, there was a typo in the problem, okay? This wasn't here as of yesterday. So I put it in. So the way you do this one, though, and you have to know this, it's not written anywhere for you. And remember, you cannot write anything additional on your unit circle. On the back, it should have your name and the homework stamp, and that's it. If there's anything else written there, I take the circle away and you do the test without it. Okay? So don't also write anything extra on the front. Alright, so what we need to do is we want to multiply by pi over 180. So the zeros would cancel. I don't think anything else works, right? Nothing else goes into 25 and 18. So isn't it 25 pi over 18, I think? Alright, Diana, you get to pick another one. Which one? Number 16. Okay, so let's go to 16. 15, 16. Alright. That's a good one to pick, because these are a little bit tougher. It says, use the fundamental trigonometric identities to determine the simplified form of the expression. So, best thing to do is put it into sines and cosines. Probably I would split it up like this, too. Cotangent theta times 1 over cosine theta. What's another name for tangent in terms of sine and cosine? Remember, look at the windows. Maybe the first window. Cosine theta over sine theta, good, times 1 over cosine theta. Alright, now what happens? The cosines cancel and I'm left with 1 over sine theta. Now, typically we do not leave it as a fraction if we can simplify that. So what is 1 over the sine theta the same as? It's the same as cosecant theta. So this is what we would have expected to see written down. Alright, Caesar, you get the next one. 18? Alright, so 18 is a matching problem. We need to find, it gives us a point and we have to find the other values, okay? So I'm going to draw the triangle. So it says, oh, the point is negative 16. Let me draw it on the, this one's a little bit weird. I'm not sure this one should have been on there, but let's try it. Okay, so if I drew it as negative 16, positive 12, it would be over here somewhere, right? So that would be my triangle. So it'd be negative 16 in that direction, positive 12 here. So really, those are my legs, aren't they? And this would be the opposite, and this one would be the adjacent. So I don't know the hypotenuse. I got to find the hypotenuse. So how do we find the hypotenuse? A squared plus b squared equals the, or leg squared plus leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. So what's 12 squared? 144. 144. What's 16 squared? 256 equals x squared. What's 144 plus 256? 390. It ends in a 0. Is it 400? Yeah, 400. Okay, so what's the square root of 400? 20. Alright, so now let's do our sine, our cosine, and our tangent based on that. So what's the sine of that triangle? 12 over 20. What does that reduce to, though? 3 over 5? Okay. Alright, which is one of our choices, isn't it? 3 over 5 is F. Okay, the cosine, yours might be in a different order, right? Because it probably scrambled it. So just know that yours could possibly be in a different order. Alright, the cosine of that triangle is what? Negative 16 over 20, which is negative 4 over 5. Okay, and according to mine, that one is D. All right, and then tangent of that triangle is what? 12 over negative 16, which is going to give me negative what? 3 over 4, which according to mine was A. All right. Maria, which one do you want? 17. All right, again, we have to use the fundamental identities to determine the simplified form. I'm going to tear it apart again. So cotangent theta times 1 over cosine theta times sine theta. I'm going to turn this into sines and cosines. So what's another name for cotangent? Cosine theta over sine theta. All right. What happens now? Cosines cancel, sines cancel. What are we left with? 1. All right, Lizandra, which one do you want? 24. All right. So, sorry it's tiny, but you guys can bring it up in front of you. From an airplane at an altitude of 1,200 meters. Okay, so we've got an airplane. It's always fun to watch Mrs. Ballard draw pictures. All right, the altitude is 1,200 meters. You will have your calculator out, so the numbers shouldn't be an issue. The angle of depression to a person standing on the ground is 28 degrees. Okay, so here's your person. All right, and this is the tricky part. Your angle of depression comes down from a parallel. So this is 28 degrees. And remember our alternate interior angles from geometry? Means that also your angle of elevation is 28 degrees. Okay? They want us to find the distance from the plane to the person. So they're looking for this distance here. Okay? All right, so it looks like I have the opposite and the hypotenuse. So which trig ratio am I using? Sine of 28 degrees equals 1,200 over x. What do I need to do to get x by itself? Okay, we're going to multiply by x. So sine of 28 equals 1,200. And what are we going to do now? Divide by sine. Now, what mode should your calculator be in? It should be in degree mode. So everybody right now, check your calculator. Because remember, during the test, you're going to have to flip back and forth between degrees and radians. And you need to understand when your calculator needs to be in what mode. All right. Do we have a number? 2,500 what? 0.07. Okay. Lizandra, that one was yours, right? Okay. Angelica, what do you want to see? 21. All right. Which of the following are coterminal with? So this is one where you can pick more than one. And remember, coterminal is the thing where I either add or subtract 360 or I add or subtract 2 pi. And I can keep doing that multiple times around the circle. Okay? In over 3 world, what is 2 pi? Yeah, it's the same as 6 pi over 3, right? We're making an equivalent fraction. So I'm going to start by adding that. So negative 2 pi over 3 plus 6 pi over 3. What do we get for that? Is that one of our choices? No, but we've got some positive one there, so let's do it again. 6 pi over 3, is that one? What do we get for that? Is 10 pi over 3 one of our choices? So A is a correct answer, but that might not be the only correct answer. I also should do some subtracting. So minus 6 pi over 3. What's 2 pi minus 6 pi? Is that one of our choices? Yep, okay, but we still have this one. We better check it out. So I'm going to subtract 6 pi again. What do we get there? Does the 13 pi over 3 work? No. Okay, so it's just A and C, and remember, type it in. No spaces. Doesn't have to be capitalized, but it can be. Okay? All right. Kevin, which one do you want to see? 22. Which one? 22. All right. So they give us the sine of 7 over 12, and we need to find the cosine. All right, so sine is what in SOHCAHTOA world? Opposite over hypotenuse. So I would probably draw that picture. So my opposite is 7, my hypotenuse is 12. I need to figure out this other side. So to figure out the other side, what are we going to use? Pythagorean theorem. So x squared plus 7 squared equals 12 squared. What's 7 squared? 49. What's 12 squared? 144. And we're going to subtract the 49. What do we end up with? 75? 95. Okay. And then how do I undo the squared? Square root. And in this case, the minus part doesn't make sense. So we're just going to use positive 95. I don't think that breaks down at all. All right. So what's the cosine of that angle then? Yep. Square root of 95 over 12. All right. Jaden, which one do you want? 23. All right, we've got Brian's kite is flying above a field on the end of a string. All right, remember when we do these, the way Mrs. Ballard writes them, we assume the string is attached to his foot. Okay? If not, it makes the problem a lot harder. Okay? So there's our nice little kite. Okay. String is 65 meters long. If the angle of elevation to the kite is 70 degrees, so we have our ground and our angle of elevation is 70. How high above the ground is the kite flying? So we're looking at that value right there. So it looks like I have opposite and hypotenuse, so which trig ratio do I have? Sine. Just because the 2 here came out sine, does that mean the 2 on the test will come out to be sine? No, you need to make sure you understand all 3, okay? Happened to be Mrs. Ballard grabbed those really fast. All right, so we've got x over 65. All right, how do I get the 65 to the other side? Multiply. What mode should your calculator be in? Degree mode. So make sure it's in degree mode. What is it? 0.08. Was there anything after the 8? Nope. Okay, 0.08 and whatever this was in meters, right? Okay, so that leaves 3 more for the class to pick. So what is 3 more that we want to do? So are there any others anybody's confused about? You get 3 picks. Nothing? Number 4. Okay, so there's 1. All right, so number 4, you have your unit circle out, right? All right, so we have to get, is negative pi over 3 on your unit circle? No, so the first thing I need to do is I need to add 2 pi. In over 3 world, what does 2 pi look like? 6 pi over 3. So what is the, when I add that up, what do we get? It's negative pi and positive 6 pi. 5 pi over 3. All right, which quadrant is 5 pi over 3 in? It's in the 4th quadrant, right? Isn't it right here? Okay. So what are the coordinates right there on that? Good. Okay. So I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to do it with the coordinates, and then I'm going to go back and do the triangle. Okay, so that way you have both under your belt and you can do either one. Tangent is the sine divided by the cosine. So I could write negative square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. And then we know we do this flipping and multiplying process. So I'm just left with negative square root of 3. All right, now let's look at the triangle method. You get to pick the method. I'm not going to be in your head doing the method for you. Okay, you get to pick whichever one makes more sense at this point. Okay? All right, what color is that line? It's green. Okay, so you're going to use your 60-degree triangle, right? So you've got the square root of 3, 2, and 1. So in that triangle, tangent is opposite over adjacent. What's your opposite? Square root of 3, and your adjacent is? In fourth quadrant, is tangent positive or negative? That's the tricky part with the triangle method. You have to remember to do the sign of it. Whereas with the coordinates, the sign's built into it. Okay? All right, we get 2 more picks. Are there any others that we want to see as a group? 13? Okay, look at 13. All right, you're going to use your calculator to evaluate the function. So everybody's going to practice this. What mode should your calculator be in? This one should be in radians. So let's get everybody get. I don't have my calculator up and running, but everybody's going to get their calculator into radians. So you're going to push your home button, number 5 for settings, and then document settings. Change the angle mode to radian. And then go to your scratch pad and type in sine of 3.4. All right, what are we getting? Negative 0.256. Do we agree with that? Okay. All right, you guys get one more pick. What else do you want to see? 14? Let's see what 14 and 15 look like. 15 we've already done one like, right? 15 is very similar. We've done a million of those. So I'd go with this one. Though it's kind of built into both of them. So the reference angle for this one here, this is, we have to make sure that it's basically getting this onto your unit circle. Okay? So what, I have to add or subtract 2 pi. So what's 2 pi in over 4 world? 8 pi over 4, which is going to be what? Pi over 4. So it should be... That's really all I can do, right? Okay, so here's what I would do if I were you. If you have not finished the study guide, you should be working on it right now and making sure you're getting the correct answers while you have other brains in the room to ask. Okay? I will come around and stamp homework because tomorrow's the end of the triad and you need to have up through week 5 done. Okay? And then what else? Oh, if you have any performance tasks outstanding, if you didn't finish the in-class activity yesterday, that needs to get done. Okay. All right. So you should have something to work on, I hope.
I got one of the questions from the sign over the sign the sign 3.4 because I get confused like when to change the mode.
So on the mode, let me find that one again. If there's no degree symbol, it's in radians. Or if it's a pi, it's in radians. So see there's no degree symbol on that? That's radian mode. Okay? There's a degree symbol on it, degree mode.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And then anytime you do these two down here, degree mode.
Okay, thank you.
So I am going to start, let me find the question I want to start with. Oh, let me hit 5.